passion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hey racing fans, this is Brie Marie inviting you to join me and James Rowland for the Finish Line every Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Catch up with the local dirt track drivers, national racers, and everyone you need to know about in the world of racing. Don't spin your wheels, hit the gas, and join us Sundays at 7 p.m. for the Finish Line on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio in the heart of Lincoln, America. Youth Football 101. Get a peek into the world of youth football in the state of Nebraska with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves 7-on-7 Youth Football. This is Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it. It is Youth Football 101 here on The Ticket. I'm Austin Norman running the board. But most importantly, we got a bunch of special guests here in the studio today. Without further ado, Mr. Tank Perry, Paramount Sports Academy.
What's going on, Lincoln in Nebraska? Listen, we're glad you guys are here today. This is going to be, again, the fastest hour in Youth Football 101. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff here today. Today, I got my co-host. We're kind of co-hosting today. Big Justin White. Everybody who's listening to this show knows Justin and I.
Pleasure to be back.
Yeah,
pleasure to be
he
back.
And I are good friends. He's the AD. He is just the man. Taught me a lot, and we have a great relationship.
Don't put any of that on me.
Yeah, it's got to be on you.
Don't blame me for who you are.
You predicted all of this. It's your fault. You and Jim. So listen, we have special guests today that we're going to really feature and focus on their program because, as you know, we talk about the history in the beginning of the season of this radio show. We've covered that. We talked about moms, and now we're getting through all of the teams. Today, we have a special guest, some guys that I am super fond of, a young man that is up and coming and gives me hope for Lincoln Youth Football. Jason Moser is here. From Greens.
Jason's not the young. I'm not young.
Yeah, he's not the young.
You introduced that backwards there.
Yeah. And then we have Grant. Grant, your last name is Davis, correct?
Correct.
There we go. Yeah. And Grant Davis is like young blood. Not only is one of the head coaches, he is also now kind of like filling in as the assistant AD and learning some things.
That's correct.
I tell you what, for Jeremy, right, in the program, and I tell you what, I've watched you on the field. And I've watched you around the facility, and your energy is infectious. And we're just really happy to have you here and to do some great things. And so we're going to go, I think, Justin, let's just dig into the redistricting, right? Everybody knows. If you don't, send your text in to Sutter Heyman at
402-464-5685.
That's Austin. And we also want to shout out to Edward Stones. We want to shout out to Shields, who's given us our equipment, and the Adam Carricker for the Carricker Chronicles. A special what's up always to Jim Salmon, the president of LYF, my man Mike Selvage, who runs our business as the commissioner, and all of the ADs, and Heavy, who's Craig Price, who puts himself on the line every day as a Lincoln Police Department officer. So we want to give a shout out to all those folks as well. So everybody knows we're doing redistricting. It's done. And so even though we have open borders, parents, we have open borders, Kids can go where they need, but now
For high school.
For
They
high
go
school.
For high school. I
school.
was gonna say we don't
Yeah,
have
we
open
don't
borders.
have
Don't.
open high school. And so remember, the district lines are based on the high schools around Lincoln now. And so we're going to talk about your redistricting, the high school that you're at, and how your lines have changed and how that affects your program in a way that it strengthens your programs. Then Justin, remind me, or you just take over for the waivers that we now have so people understand that the 8th grade is in place and then the 10 and the 5. We're going to talk about that. But for now, how's the redistricting working for you guys?
Well, it's early to say with registrations. We always have those trickle in, as summer begins, summer activities. But I would say just from an eye test, knowing where our boundaries were to the south, we definitely probably have some kids that were once greens that are going to be at Manzito. We have some kids that were, with Greens / Stonebrook, former sponsor, that are going to be playing for Elks because they're on the northern border. But I think for a total alignment in the league, I think this is a very big thing. I think it was a total alignment with what we were talking about earlier with the high schools being more aligned with where their district boundaries are. So I think it's really going to open up the avenue and kind of take the handcuffs off of us working with high school coaches and establishing that relationship. So
Yeah, because it's okay now. It's okay to reach out. Like, even if you're across 2 borders, it's still okay to reach out to those coaches that are directly affecting, which is really good for the kids, right? You may not run all of their plays, but you'll be able to run some of their plays if that's what they choose to do. And
The big thing is just getting the verbiage
yes,
that the high school
Correct.
uses.
Yes.
Plays, not so much.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to run the same plays with a bunch of fourth graders. that
graders.
you will.
right, yeah, you can
But-
try,
But if your verbiage is good,
Yeah.
cadence is a big
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Like our high school uses one cadence that we weren't using with Elks. So now
Okay.
it's transitioning to using that type of cadence so that the
Yeah.
kids are used to it when they get to high school. So
I love it. And
Yeah.
and that helps, right?
Oh,
The-
for
the
sure.
whole.
for sure.
So, Grant, right? What are you seeing and what are you learning from Zen Master over here as you're kind of indoctrinating? moving
Which
forward?
Zen master?
I
we
know,
talking
I know,
about?
I know, I know.
I've got a couple over
Jason,
here.
because I know Jason is always like pen and paper.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Jason, like I said, I got some big shoes to fill next year. I'm trying to soak up everything this year that I can from him. I've been working with him for 5 years now?
Yep.
5 years now. The first couple years, obviously, I wasn't witnessing what he was doing like I should be.
Right.
Hindsight's 2020. But this year, I'm really going to buckle down. We're going to be in contact a lot more, and I want to get this ball rolling because I feel like I'm in the dark a
Yes.
little bit.
Sure,
But
sure.
but I realize you got to start somewhere. So
well, you always got guys like us too to
Yeah,
reach
you
out
can
to.
reach out.
exactly. Yeah.
And the reality is, it doesn't really matter how old you are. Listen, people of Lincoln, this is like drinking from a fire hydrant. It really is. It is so much information out there and it's so complex. And there truly are some real Zen masters that are coaching and ADs and people that have been around that if you don't have that mentorship,
Correct.
like
Yeah.
even Justin mentoring me and Jim and Mike, it was like dismal. My first year, I was like, what just happened? Right.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I encourage you to reach out to those folks that you see some of what they're doing that you'd like to also learn and do, because we're all open. I mean, we're all
yeah,
open
for sure.
and there's nothing that Justin's going to not tell you, but he's still going to do it on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be able to stop it.
I was lucky enough to help coach the All-Star game last
Yes.
year. And then that was the first time that I met him, and he just opened up this
Yeah.
new world of
Yeah.
knowledge. And I don't even think he meant to do it towards me, but
He
I
meant
soaked all
to.
that in. And at times I felt like I was too quiet because I was just observing.
Yes.
He had it all figured out. He's been
Yeah.
doing this for years.
Yes.
And that,
Well,
that
you
was,
got to coach the team this year now.
Yeah.
so
well,
So there you have it.
that was an awesome
I'm
experience.
just a bystander.
Yeah,
when it comes
yeah.
to All-Star now.
Well, I'll be hitting you up then.
Yeah.
Okay? We'll put
You'll
it
be
that
down
way.
on the
Yeah.
sidelines.
I'll
You'll
help.
be
but-
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so what, if any, goals with all of these changes do you look? And Jeremy, obviously who's the sponsor.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking to really get out of this first year with these changes?
You want to go first or want me?
I think you go first on this
So
one, yeah.
you know, with any change, a lot of people are resistant to change, and we know that there's some people that they don't like it. It's going to take an adjustment. So I really don't have any huge goals for the year one of this change. I think it's for me thinking of long-term success is probably where I'm gaining the biggest benefit from it. But for year one, I just know that there's going to be a transition. There's going to be, you know, we're going to talk about waivers and stuff like that when we get to it. But I know that there's gonna be a lot of people that are okay. Where am I at? Where am I playing? And you know, and we have a mixture of coaches that came or stuck around from Stonebrook. We have all of our coaches from Greens that are sticking around. So we've already had a coaches meeting to try and bring them all together. But the thing is that we're all good guys with good intentions. It's not like we're missing a beat. You know, Justin's coaching staff at Elks, I'm sure we'd all get along as well.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, when you think of the grand scheme of things is that I always tell the coaches when we have our coaches meeting, our biggest reward is when we go to a high school Friday night game, Thursday night game, and we're sitting there, we're going, he played for Greens, he played for Stonebrook, he played for Elks, he played for Neiman. That's our reward.
Isn't that cool?
So I just think with this new boundary is just better alignment. And, you know, we're still have the same goal intact, still have the same marching orders to get these kids to the next level.
Fantastic. And Grant, what team are you head coaching this year?
I'll be level C.
Level C.
Yep.
And so what are you looking for at that level?
Well, I'm hopefully getting a majority of my players back. At C level, I like to see the progression to where I don't have to teach so much fundamentals anymore.
Yeah,
If,
yeah.
You know, if I did my job from rookie all the way up, then I shouldn't be having to teach the basics as much anymore, unless there's some first year players, obviously. But I'm really looking for my kids to step it up mentally. I think the physicality always comes with it, just how I push my players. But I want them on a different mental level. I want them more focused this year because their minds have matured. And then I just want them to go out and, like Jason said, our ultimate goal is to get them ready for high school. Win or lose, if you're ready for high school, then we've done our part.
It's another level.
Yes,
The
yes.
game keeps, and that's what Lincoln, you really want to begin to like really understand that there are levels to this. I mean, the speed of the game changes every year.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important to continue getting your kids training, even if they're playing other sports, but getting them football training, because the level and the speed of the game changes from D to C. It's a light year jump, right? From C to B, which are seventh graders, and in between sixth and seventh and eighth graders, it's a light year jump. And then to eighth grade, it's incredibly. And so if your child is not getting the training and they're not progressing, it will be hard for them to make the jump. What we're trying to do as coaches is recognize that, right?
Yeah.
And continue improving the kids, but we also need the parents' help to be able to go to the next level, right? Would you
Yep.
agree with that, Justin, or disagree? or add?
Yeah. Outside, if all you're doing is showing up to practice, that's what everybody else is doing as well. You've got to do something, even if it's just out in your yard, getting some drills from your coach. We had baseball practice the other night up at the high school, and the starting center for Northeast had 3 hours of football practice in the morning and then wrestling. And he came out there after wrestling and was working on all his footwork and all his fundamentals by himself. Nobody
Mhm,
there.
mhm,
Wow.
Just
mhm.
putting in extra work with nobody around. And I
It's insane.
pointed to all my boys and I said, if you guys want to be good in high school, that's the type
That's
of
it.
mentality you have to have.
Absolutely.
I love it. And to give us some credence in what we've been doing over, especially over the last few years, that's not to slight the direction of Lincoln Youth football, but training is exploding
Yes.
around Lincoln. Football training is absolutely exploding, and kids and parents are beginning to pay attention. And so you as a parent have to be careful, because what you saw in a kid last year may not be what you see in the kid this year, because that parent or that child or combination of both could have taken the time to work out over the year, because there are camps everywhere. And not to slight any camp in particular, but we're not talking about the camps where you take a picture, right? Or that you run around with thousands of kids. We're talking about specialized training that small groups of kids are doing around Lincoln from all different programs and from programs that are in the neutral that are helping these kids to develop, get better. LYF put on 4. I know that Paramount has put on 3 or 4. I know that Lincoln Northeast is putting them on. North Star, who else? Northwest. I know
Standing
Northeast,
Bear.
Southeast, Standing Bear, everybody. So parents, pay attention to, I try to post them all. If any high school organization sends them, I try to put them out there in Paramount because Paramount is non-biased. But training is so important,
Yes.
right? And the reason for that, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, is a couple of things to think about. When you start football for that 8-week cycle, most teams are getting 14 days to prepare their kids. 14 days to get them in shape, to get them decided on what skill position they're primarily going to play, if not multiple, and then installs for offense and defense and ready for that first game. That's a tough nut to crack.
When
Insane.
Tank spells it out like that, it's like the impossible feat.
It's crazy, but
Yeah.
we've been doing
But
it
for a
and
while.
now with these training,
Yeah.
kids will be coming this year and last year like more in shape, have some football. Hey, I had some lineman training. I had some linebacker training. I had some receiver training. I played this, I played that for football, and I think it's going to be better. And I just don't want parents in the Lincoln area to fall off and go, what just happened? When all you've got to do is look at the camps that are happening internally and make sure that you're getting your kids to those camps.
Well, I think, you saying that it is another, I don't know, you want to call it a coach dopamine hit, is when you see those kids, just like you're talking about in that 14 practice time span to the end of the season. And you're like, where did we start? And holy cow, strap in and look where they finished. There's that other reward, much like watching a Friday night or Thursday night game.
Who's this rookie over here with his
I
ringer
know,
on?
I know. And of all things,
Is this your first time on the show?
And my daughter.
Yeah.
What are you
Oh,
doing?
this
So
is daughter.
she's not listening to the
Man's
show.
over here making a point.
I
You're
know.
over there playing on your phone.
Like this was really important. So those are the things. It is the dopamine. It is like it's a nightmare for ADs and coaches to go, I've got 14 days to work with this, and then get a product on the field where they can learn and be successful after the first 2 months and want to come back.
Right.
That's where I always start too at the year, is telling the kids, hey, you're going to look different week 7 from week 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've had years where we get our doors blown off week 1, and I'm like, guys, you're not going to be the same team in
No.
6 weeks. Just
Yeah.
trust the process. You might be a little behind the other teams, whether it's size, strength, speed, but you'll catch up.
You'll catch up.
Yeah, as long as you focus on the fundamentals and play football.
Yeah. And it's so for some kids, it's a tough road. So are we at break here?
Oh, we
Austin?
got another 5-10 minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So we're going to keep it going. So I know you can't speak for Jeremy. But
I
how's-
might.
You might, but you might. But how's Jeremy feeling about all of this? I mean, it's crazy to see the changes that he's experiencing.
I think he's pretty excited, much like we are, as far as being better aligned with high schools. I think for the long game, thinking this is better for Lincoln youth football. I know the league set up and the way the town of Lincoln is growing. We may expand and add teams, but I think that future boundary and how it's going to fall out after this restructure is going to be better, well prepared. So,
Well-
and he's all in for that.
And the teams are going to be massive moving forward, which is really good for the programs and much more organization. So what high school are you guys, just so Lincoln knows, what high school are you guys going to begin to feed in, even though there's still open borders, but with the Reed district?
Yeah, so we'll primarily feed in the Lincoln East. I think we were one of the last remaining clubs not previous to this year that did not practice at the high school. So we are actually going to start practicing at Lincoln East starting this fall. So that's a good win for us.
So have you guys talked to the coaches? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
And how are the coaches feeling about it, if you've talked to them?
Yeah, I've talked to the head coach, John Gingrey at East. Just really, it's surprising how the high school coaches are well aware of what goes on in our league. And
They are plugged in.
Yeah, and a good thing, right?
Yes.
So, and it really wasn't a long talk. I mean, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure you're aware of what's going on. I want to make sure, and I've known John for quite a long time.
Okay.
And so just, letting them know that we're going to be practicing at East. I also know the athletic director and the assistant athletic director at East. And we've had a great relationship over the years. So really it was just like, hey, great. This is finally really going to pan out the way, we'd hoped, because we always had that invisible border between the two organizations, and now it's gone. So looking
That's
forward to it.
incredible. And it's really beginning to shape up, right, with larger metros, right, around the United States and what they're doing already. And so even though we're a little bit behind, we can't really say we're terribly behind anymore, because now we're doing it. It's up to us and the coaches at the high school to embrace this, to have better, stronger programs and discuss the things that they need and that they'd like to see in the program. And I think that's good. I know that we are sitting down with Lincoln Northwest, frequently to figure out where they are, how we can help the program, and how they can help us. And I think that's super important for everybody to continue to do that. So in this last few minutes, Justin, what am I missing?
Yeah, I don't know. You're never quiet, so
I
it's
know.
hard to tell what you could be missing.
I know.
I will want to add, because you were hitting a nerve with me a minute ago, talking about that offensive lineman that's doing those drills. And this is one thing I'd probably want to really emphasis with parents. Kids have way more time on their hands than they want to let out. And
Definitely.
even with I've got my youngest is in high school, and I talk to him, and he's a multi-sport athlete. I'm like, you've got time.
Yeah,
you
got time.
You can work it in. You can do this and that and the other. And it was the same thing when Jeremy and I started coaching together 12 years, 10, I don't know what it was. But anyway, we started coaching together, and he talked to me about my playbook. I'm like, I don't know about this, these plays, they seem a little advanced for these guys. I'm like, they can handle it. They'll be fine. Just watch. And sure, they do. You can throw a lot at them. They can absorb a lot.
You have no idea. You're right on that path, because that's what we'll talk about next hour. But I'm going to tell you firsthand, because I compete at a high level around the nation. These kids can really absorb more than we sometimes give them at a lower level.
Yep.
They can do amazing things.
Well, and it's getting them to believe that
Yes.
too is the biggest step. Because like Justin was saying, at the beginning of the season, my kids can barely do 10 push-ups. But when I do conditioning week 7, week 8, I'm saying, hey, how many are you doing now? And they're like, well, I'm doing 15.
Yes.
And I said, look at that. I said, this sucks. The stuff that no one sees sucks. But look where you are now. And once they buy into that, and they have that look in their face, that they've reached a potential they never thought they had, it's incredible.
And it translates.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing a kid can do at the young ages during the off season, is just start doing push-ups every day.
Just push up.
Start doing some wall sits, some squat jumps. Just you don't need a weight room in your house at 9 years old, but if you just did those things every day, it would make a huge difference.
Yep.
I think, was it you a few years ago that I got this from? Even if you think you said, do you have stairs in your house?
Yeah, if you like I always say, I got the bigger guys usually who can't do a push-up, and everyone's like, well, go from your knees. And I'm like, well, it's actually a different angle. If you go to your staircase and go up a couple steps, and then just make sure your chest touches the step your hand is on.
There you go.
Yeah. And you do that 10 times a night until it gets easy, and then you move down a stair. And you just keep going, and then eventually you're on the ground doing push-ups that you never thought you'd be able to do.
I preach that all the time. You'd be surprised.
It's like one of those aha moments, right?
Oh, yeah, it was. And I got it from you. I was like, okay, I'm used to this. And so I've used that for 3 or 4 years now, 2 or 3 years now, and it works. I mean, by the end of they're like, we're knocking it out. I started the stairs, and oh my gosh.
So some of them boys are so big that you're like, just lean against the wall and do it on the wall. Do it on the wall till you can do it on the wall, then go to the stairs. But you get that big boy pushing that type of weight.
Yeah.
That's a huge kid.
Baby steps for the big guys.
Baby steps. Well, listen, we're going to stop here. We're going to come back, and we're going to come back with greens for just a couple of moments. We're going to take a moment to rep the sponsors. I appreciate you guys being here. Austin, take us to commercial.
Be right back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket after this.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here at Youth Football 101, 93.7 The Ticket FM. Tank Bear, stage is yours.
Let's go. Listen, I'm your man Tank. Got great guests here today. Got Grant Davis, got Jason Mosier. We've got my friend Justin White, who also is on the board of LYF as well.
There you go.
We're feeling pretty good. We had some technical difficulties here.
Who knew that you could get a headphone twisted around, huh?
They twist really odd. My phone is off, so we're good to go. I'm sure my daughter's mad at me, like, why didn't you answer the phone? So, over the break, we kept it going, right? Because we really are excited about the things we do. And some of the things we talked about are where your program is, where it's been, some of the kids that have transitioned, how well that transition is happening into high school sports and beyond. You want to talk about some of that?
Yeah. You, as a feeder program to the high schools, and, we talked about watching them play on Friday nights. So it's, I think a lot of the players are pretty well equipped that play as freshmen coming out of Lincoln Youth Football. I think it's transitioned pretty well as far as watching the level of play. Of course, our competitiveness is that we want to have our high school teams in the state playoffs. So I kind of look at it if our high school teams aren't competing in the state playoffs and being competitive, then we have more work to do. So that's probably the biggest thing that I'm looking at, my measuring stick of, here we are handing over these outgoing eighth graders into ninth grade. Hopefully we see the freshman teams doing well, the reserves, JV. And that's probably one of the things that I have seen in recent years is that the high school reserve teams are kind of falling by the wayside. They're struggling with sometimes getting games scheduled. So usually they'll get into more JV level, freshman level.
Yeah, a lot of that's just numbers.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a little lower at a senior class, then
Right.
that's more juniors
But it's-
starting on varsity, and then that means the sophomores are going to have to play up.
But it's everywhere. It's not just
Yeah.
Lincoln. I mean, I've seen it happen in Omaha as well. That reserve team is, like I said, could be one of the a short future. Where
Okay. Now explain that. So I'm in Lincoln, and I have no idea what we just talked about. Reserve team, JV.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit more in depth.
So obviously you have your freshman team where the only players that can play on it are freshmen. Your reserve level could be a mixture of freshmen, sophomores, not too many juniors, maybe occasionally. Then your JV level is a mixture of all, and then of course your varsity level. And so that reserve team gets pinched from the bottom and the top. And that's the one that I would say that the high school level has the lowest priority. If their game gets canceled, probably not going to make it up. But if a JV game got canceled, they're going to do their best to make it up. But it's something that all the communities are struggling with. I mean, like I said, it's not just Lincoln, Nebraska. I know Omaha struggles with it a lot. I think here recently, I think there was a school in Grand Island that ended up canceling their whole season.
For the reserve team.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're saying basically is that team comprised of freshmen and sometimes sophomore and juniors. We're seeing more and more of those going to the varsity team and then going to the ninth grade team because of team needs.
Correct.
Right. Not so much that the numbers are dwindling, but just needs overall for what they're doing.
I would say it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Really. I think numbers definitely plays a factor. But then I also think probably need skill set.
Okay. Which
Yeah.
kind of goes back to
Yeah.
what we're saying.
If you're sitting there on a
There
team and
you
you
go.
have 4 centers
Yeah.
from freshman to senior
Hello.
playing time, you can only play so many quarters in a week.
Yeah.
So
That's right. And so I'm cheating here a little bit, but that kind of goes back to what? It's important for parents to get their kids training. If you want your child to compete at that next level and continue, it's important from year to year that you get them the training that you need. And Lincoln is exploding with those opportunities.
that back to that as well with the working, you got kids that if they're not the starter, they kind of just give up. Think, what's the point? Maybe they don't come out their sophomore year. Maybe they don't come out their junior year. Those kids need to continue to fight.
Yes.
If they're out there, they might senior year be a starter.
Mhm.
But if they're quitting their sophomore year,
No way.
not helping the team at all.
Right. And that's important.
Well, I've always said that too. If, to use any kid for an example, maybe they don't play a ton as a freshman. They don't play a lot as a sophomore, but they just keep grinding. And by their senior year, they're the best version of an athlete that they've ever been in their life. That is a win. That's success. And I think that the struggle when they're young is that, hey, I got to play now. And I'm, patience seems to go by the wayside.
Yeah.
And, I think if they stay,
We're in a instant gratification society anyway. So
Sure.
Yeah, well,
if
that's
it
what I was
doesn't
gonna
happen in
touch on,
15
yeah.
seconds, it's
Yeah. Well, and to speak on Jeremy Rebke's behalf, he has always preached, and this is what I've always remembered. Try different positions when you're in Lincoln youth football. That way, when you get to high school, you have a large repertoire of what you possibly could do. We've groomed linemen over the years who shouldn't be linemen, who are too small, but we've groomed them into that because they're fast and they can penetrate. In high school, they already know all that stuff. And if they wanted to try out for receiver, they already got the physicality, the knowledge, everything. So just because you're a quarterback in Lincoln youth football, you could be a star wide receiver or a star cornerback in high school. So just because you don't get to play this position in Lincoln youth, don't let that bring you down, because in high school, you don't know what could happen. It's all up to your work ethic and then what the coaches see in you. And that's where we.
And you heard it here. I mean, that's such great advice, because I know for a fact at the collegiate level, a lot of the kids that come in playing one position and they're evaluated get moved to another. And you don't really have much of a choice. You can go there and get good. But then some of those kids, a fair majority of them, end up in the NFL.
Well, I mean, look at Cam Jurgens.
Yes.
Tight end all through high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Starting center in
Starting
the NFL
center.
now.
Super Bowl champ.
So
Yep.
yeah. So there's a ton. There was a guy that we talked to a couple of years ago that blew my mind. I can't think what his name is. Blew my mind that he was a quarterback all through Little League and high school. And he said he was really good. And then all of a sudden he got to high school his junior year and they flipped him to secondary. He went with it and he ended up playing for 2 professional teams, one of them being a Super Bowl team. I can't remember his name. But anyway, that's incredible. So I know it's easy for parents to go, well, that's one person. The NFL is a small vacuum. College is a small vacuum. High school, the vacuum gets smaller. But you can expand that by encouraging your child to play multiple positions and to listen more to the coaches, right, of what they were needing from those kids and wanting them to do because you've been there for so long versus having this sidebar conversations. One of the things that I have been able to improve my program, it's not about me, I'm sure you guys are all doing it, is I encourage parents not to have a secondary conversation, but to look at the needs of the team and understand if, as long as it's not immoral, unsafe, right, or illegal, to be able to listen what the coaches are trying to do for these kids.
Yeah.
Because we want them all, but we want to be able to fill them in and then have that, if it's a conversation, trust the process that it's going to go and give your kids encouragement to continue listening what the coaches need.
The other thing that'll help them when they get to high school, not be so pigeonholed into one thing,
Yes.
like we've talked about, is play a lot of different sports, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Get your body athletic.
Yes.
Don't just do the same movement over and over,
and over
all
again.
year long. Get to be an athlete.
Yep.
Even the big guys get to be athletic big guys. There's nothing better than a big lineman who has
Right.
light feet.
Yes. Quick feet.
Yep.
We love to see that.
Yeah, get
Oh my
get that
God.
big boy out on the basketball court and let him play some center. you know?
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Or even if some of the football training that you're doing around town, it's going to make the kid ultimately a better athlete.
Go
A
to
lot-
all of
I
it.
mean, any of your base stance, that A-frame, it goes wrestling, football, baseball, it trains basketball for guarding. I mean, that A-frame is across so many different sports.
If you could get into wrestling before football, if there's any chance, I recommend that to any kid because I can always tell. I've never met the kid. I
Yeah.
can tell who's been a wrestler
Yeah.
just by their
The
tackling.
leverage.
drills.
Leverage.
So, I mean, I was a wrestler. Jason was a wrestler.
Yeah.
We know that when I started playing football, I already had 3 state champions as a kid and
Right.
a national champion.
Right.
When I came to football, it was like,
This is easy.
this is it. Now
Let's
I just
go.
got to learn the X's and O's. Oh, so if you can get into wrestling, I know it's probably the toughest sport for your kid, but that is going to pay dividends, not just in football, but in every sport because it's a one-on-one. It's accountability, So
Lincoln, we've been telling you guys and sharing with you guys, and our viewership is getting bigger. We want to talk about all things youth football, right? 101. This is the basics of it, right? This is not the catch-all, end-all, do-all, be-all, but it's a starting point. And we want you to continue texting in, asking us questions, making sure that you're pushing us to the next level because we want to give you the real skinny of what's happening internally with Lincoln Youth Football versus anything that you're hearing, right? Because usually we're at 11 to 1,200 kids that are out there. It's a big, big, big project and program. And you've got a lot of men and women that are volunteering their time to help your kids continue to get better. And we as coaches are constantly finding ways to get better. We're not perfect, but we're working at being perfect. And you have a board, an executive board that really cares, that gives her time. And a lot of us, we're like working a second job in doing this as volunteers, and we love it, right?
Yep.
So I think we're at a point we can go to commercial. Listen, Grant, want to see you out there this year. Want to see you continue to
Hey,
grow.
so
Looking forward to it.
So
right?
excited, man.
Jason, let's see what you do with this new montage that you have. And I want to get you guys out here again. Just
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
This has been great. Thank you very much.
we appreciate it. Justin, you'll be staying with me
Yep.
for the next segment.
You're
This is
stuck
the
with me.
fastest hour of football.
Who's coming
Yes.
up next?
So what's coming up next is we're going to talk about Paramount Sports Academy. We'll talk about 707. We got our last tournament, thank God, in Carroll, Iowa this weekend. I know the parents want a little bit of break before they go. And it's another 150 kids that are dedicated to what they're doing.
Wow.
We've got some strength and conditioning coaches coming up, what we're doing out there as well. And we're just going to continue to talk about football and the training aspect where we have a neutral space that we get players from all of the teams that are out there individually, collectively, and the things that we're trying to do to help as well.
Perfect. Come back for that next on Youth Football 101 on the ticket.
Great. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
The weekend is here, and you and the boys need a place to hang out after your day on the golf course. Lucky for you, that place exists at Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill in South Lincoln. The 19th hole at the course is great, but it doesn't have 30 TVs showing all sports with 23 beers on tap. You can enjoy all of that at Liquid Assets, as well as delicious smash burgers, wings, and much more. Don't end your hangout after the golf round ends. Get to Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill at 2755 Jamie Lane.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here on Youth Football 101 on 93.7. The Ticket. I'm Moss Norman. More importantly, here's Tank Perry.
What it do? I'm your man, Tank Perry. Here we're at the second half of the hour, which we talk about Paramount Sports Academy, Paramount Football Academy. We talk about 7-on-7, the things that happens there. We got my man Justin White still with us, who's also done some training as well in Paramount. Keeping in mind, parents, that Paramount is a football facility that has all kind of football stuff in it. We have sleds, we have weights, we have tons of balls, we have sticks, we have a kicking net if you have a kicker that went to indoor training. Today was perfect. We had one of the high schools come in and get some training. It was great because it was raining cats and dogs. So the kids were able to get in there and have a good time. And we had younger kids, older kids. Today is kind of special, right? We have a special guest here, a parent who's been with me for 2 years, another parent I think that's been with me going on his 3rd year as well. And they have actually volunteered to be strength and conditioning coaches for the kids at Paramount. And keep in mind that it's easy to think that I care about one program more than enough, but anybody that you talk to will honestly tell you that I always try to become a neutral source unless I'm specifically dealing with my organizations. But as football in Nebraska or Lincoln in specific and the surrounding communities, for me, it's always about making the community better. And so Grant Wassenberger and Brian Reber, who's not here, he's picking up his wife from the airport in Omaha, are going to work on strength and conditioning. They have a lot of really cool ideas. They have 10,000 square feet to work with as well. Yeah. And we're really, really, really excited. And so I'm going to let Grant talk about some of the things that he looks forward to doing. And this guy is like Mr. Excitement, because it went from 1 and 2 days to, I walked in here a little while ago and he was like, hey, we're doing 4 days. And I'm like, heck yeah, hallelujah. So welcome, Grant. Thank you for doing what you're doing, volunteering your time to what we're doing and trying to make Lincoln as a whole better. You want to talk about some of the things that you're wanting to do and that you're doing?
Right now, it is just 2 days a week, like we've been working on. We've been doing upper body strength, lower body strength. Things we want to improve on are our cardio and plyometrics. Actually get some explosives, some speed, some power, just get their bodies used to football movements instead of going out there and laying down and try to push somebody off of them like a bench press or squats or something else. They need to do football movements that they get their body used to. And my wife's been helping me out plan some different movements that they can have. And especially for younger kids that don't really know their body fully yet, it'll be really good to get them to take that step. So once they hit high school, they're not so far left behind.
That's good. That's good. And so what ages are you planning on working with?
Teenagers, 13 up to, I think we have a 16-year-old up there. So teenagers of any age group. Talk to you about doing like maybe some kids stuff, might get them out there and just do cardio. Yep. I know there's a lot of little kids out there that are looking for stuff to do that they don't really have that sport that they like, but I mean, get them in there, maybe introduce them to football and some of the things that they might enjoy. Yeah, nobody likes running, but at the same time, we can do other things that it doesn't include just running. Cardio can be plenty of other things.
So here we go, Lincoln. So this process costs you $10 a month. So I think for the next 2 months, it'll cost you $20. Next 3, it'll cost you $30.
It's quick math.
Quick math, right? I'm getting good at this. But here's the caveat. If you feel like you can't afford it, come in, let them know, and I'll foot the bill through Paramount for you, because I believe in the youth and I believe there's no reason. And we're in the summer. Folks, we're in the summer. The kids are sitting home. Bring them out to the gym for a couple of hours and drop them off and go do your shopping or go back to work, carpool, whatever you need to do. We're happy to have them there to be able to work with kids, right? So this is the least expensive level of work that you can do with your kids. $10 or free. Get your kids to Paramount at 3200 North 23rd Street here in Lincoln, Nebraska, right? Justin, you've been to Paramount. Tell me what you think about Paramount.
Oh, it's a nice
The good
area.
stuff only.
No, it's a great place. I love what you did over there. I specialize more in linemen, so we can go anywhere.
Yes.
Like
yes.
I see the beauty in it for receivers
Yes.
and quarterbacks. and stuff, but
linebackers.
I need about a 5x5 room
And
to
get
work
it
with
done.
linemen. So
Yeah, let's go.
everything looks like good space to me.
Yeah. And they have the opportunity to turn around and lift a few weights if they're over the age of 12
There
years
is
old.
there's a very good weight room in there right now.
So we're super excited about that. Dads, moms, if you want to come on your own for the same $10 and bring your kid there versus joining a more expensive gym, you're welcome to do that as well, right? To be able to do that. I know that Plug and Jade, right? My daughter Jade was a track star, went to University of Nebraska, ran track as well, had an opportunity to go to Naval Academy, run for them. But the bottom line, and everything she knows about sports science and medicine, yada, 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 she works her two kids out. She works her 7-year-old, my grandson, Zane, and she works Cam out, who most people know who Cam is, and she works him out as well. They're on her own, and she doesn't pay either. But the point is, I'm not going to ask her to either, right? But the point is that she uses that space to be able to get it done where it's a asset to her to be able to do that. So, yeah. And so now, you're looking, you mentioned your wife earlier,
Yes.
but you didn't mention her credentials. So who is your wife?
Wife is Beth Wasserberger. She was wrestling coach for a few years. We've both been coaching wrestling for, I'd say, I don't know, almost 8-9 years. So we've been around coaching quite a bit. Football is not my forte, so to speak, but at the same time, played football as a young kid. My brother big into football, but I mean, I think wrestlers make the best athletes, especially for football, for tackling, linemen, and everything else. But that's just my personal.
Well, yeah, it was actually stated last hour too. So
Yeah.
you're not in a field alone.
The wrestling coaches are constantly bothering my son to wrestle. So
Well,
it is.
Cam used to wrestle as well, and he lasted about 3 years. Did super well, but was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I can see the benefits always in the way he moves, the things he does, especially leverage, right?
Yep, leverage, flexibility. I mean, just it's getting low on your tackles, getting low on your blocks, actually getting that, just knowing how to change levels quicker.
Good. So some of the equipment that is at Paramount that your kids are able to use, obviously, we've got professional timers there. We've got sleds, which is really good. We have sleds for the smaller guys. We have sleds for the bigger guys as well. I've seen some of their workouts for the last few weeks before declaring strength and conditioning as a whole. Were really, really good workout. We've had 3, 4, 5 kids that you really gone. I expect that the gym's going to be full this summer. Also, I might mention, any parent or any trainer or anybody that, matter of fact, Wilbur is not here today. Wilbur Palma is not here, and he's beginning training in the facility as well. He's actually got his own clientele. He's building that he's bringing to the facility. I think the same slot that you guys are in, but he'll be doing some other things as well. So it's growing as a whole. The facility is here for us, Lincoln, and it's really important to take advantage of it because at the end of the day, it's good for kids to constantly get ready. And when's the season starting?
July 31st should be our first practice.
So we're talking less than 2 months.
Right around the corner.
So we're talking getting your kids 6, 7 weeks of just physical training, strength and conditioning, get some basic speed in. I know there are other programs around town that are doing similar things as well that I think that are doing a good job as well. But this is a least expensive way to do it if your kids are sitting at home already. And I always draw from you, Justin, because as we all know, Justin has been one of my main mentors, but we're looking for kids who are not playing football that look forward to playing football someday versus never having played. And that's something that Justin always talks about. We're not just looking for the guys that are already playing, right? We're looking for the guys who want to get better. We're looking for the guys that are coming in for the first year. We're looking for the guys and parents that go, hey, can my kid play football? So this is another good way before the actual season. Because again, I always talk about we got 14 days. When you join a team and you register and the season starts on July 31st, the coaches and the ADs have 14 days to get you ready for the first game, where you can already be in shape. You can already have some football skills already. And then the installs. And if you don't know what I mean by installs are putting in the offense, putting in the defense. And some of these playbooks are pretty intricate. And most coaches would love to go quicker to the installs to be able to get your kids more involved. So here's yet another way that starting this Tuesday and Thursday, and they're going to move it up to 4 days a week. Here's an opportunity for you to drop your kids off and let them have some really productive time to be able to go.
Yeah, you mentioned the kids that haven't played or might not play. We talk about it all the time, getting kids more involved so there's bigger numbers at the high school level.
Yes.
Even if your kid's not going to try football until high school, if they can just get athletic before they start high school. Don't let them get to their freshman year and come out that day one and now they're out of shape and don't know football at the same time. At least if they come in and they're in shape and they have an athletic base to them.
Yeah.
The coaches can do something with them at the high school level.
Yeah.
Quicker. You know, I understand that some kids grow differently and some parents are leery about having kids play such a physical sport at a young age. And I get that. Some people start in high school. Don't start their physical development
very good
so late. Let that start early. Let them show up to high school ready to actually contribute.
Well, and you're exactly right. And on the heels of that, and you guys are welcome to disagree. So the one thing that I've noticed since I've been here for many years is the numbers of every sport that many parents are playing dwindle down when you get to high school. And what I've noticed when I started going to games here 20 years ago, because I'm a football fanatic and I've always at least watched the games when I knew no one. Baseball only has so many people that you can have, regardless of how many teams are out there. There's only so many that are going to play at the high school level. Basketball, regardless of how many teams are out there, which I think is good, only so many people get to play at the high school level. Tennis, wrestling, bowling, whatever it is that you do. And what I notice is only 20 players or 22 players are getting lots of playing time, and everybody else has their hands in their collar. Wouldn't it be awesome for Lincoln for more kids to be able to contribute? Because the coaches need at the high school level kids that are able to contribute. So these small things, as you just said, to get them athletic allows them to develop. So when their bodies are growing, even if they're not playing to high school, they can come to high school and be more athletic, where the coaches can mold and use them based on their skill sets. Because I'm here to tell you, and I've always said this, the only thing that you cannot teach in sports or football in specific is height. Everything else you can train, everything else that you can work with. So there's a space and a place for all athletes. And as Justin said, and as Grant has said, the guys before, let's get them the exercise that they need and get them athletic before they get to high school. And here's a good space to start at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Paramount. So if you hear this message, spread the message. This is a neutral space where it's really about the kid. So we are done for the day, for the week. We'll be back next Saturday.
Fastest hour.
You are learning, get more people to tune in, get the app, drop it in to learn something and listen to something about Lincoln Youth Football 101, because we're talking about everything. If you want to come in and talk about something about football, feel free to. I'm Tank. I'm signing out. My man Justin, he's
Thanks
out.
for having me.
Grant, thanks for coming today. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Look forward to doing great things over there. Austin, thanks, bud.
It's been a blast. This has been Youth Football 101 here at 93.7 The Ticket. Hour break. We'll replay some baseball corner for you. Then Todd Euler and the Power Hour at 1.
Make sure you tune in every Saturday from 11 to 12 for all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman.